Hi, welcome to Sachin Study Tech. Today topic is keyword in Python. What is meant by keywords? Keywords are reserved words in Python. They have a special meaning and are part of the language syntax. You cannot use them as a variable or function or class name. That means you cannot use any keyword, cannot use it as an identifier. Identifier. Any identifier starts with letter, not a digit. Letter or underscore, right? Letter may be a small letters or capital letters. So here you can see sum is a valid identifier, underscore sum here also valid identifier, average underscore temperature it is also valid identifier. For example, here sum 3 here also valid identifier, 9 sum it is not a valid identifier, and also for example class it is also not a valid identifier because class is a keyword, right? For example, for it is also not a valid identifier because it is also a keyword, right? For example, if it is also a not a it is also not a valid keyword, not valid identifier because if is a keyword, right? For example, here also true, here also not a valid identifier, right? If you can see that import keyword and print keywords, what are the keywords is there in this version, you can see based on the version you can print the keywords, right? Here you can see I am just importing that import keywords, import keyword, and you can print that keyword in list format here, keyword dot keyword list. Just how many keywords is there in this version? Here you can see these are the keywords is there. The false is also a literal, boolean literal. Here also true is also boolean literal. Here null is also a boolean literal. Except this here remaining all are small. You can see here all words are small words here. For example, here try to use this. For example, here false I can use, false equal to 10. Just I want to print that. Here print false. Here false is a keyword here, that's why cannot assign to value. Okay, that is error. For example, I am using here if equal to 10 it cannot use if. For example, I am using here it is a case sensitive, that's why if is different, I is capital letter I am taking here, that's why here no problem, here it is a false. For example, here it can print if not false, here it can print if what is the value of that, here you can print that value. Like for example, class is also a keyword, class, so that's why cannot use class as a identifier. So here you cannot use class is a keyword, that's why cannot use it as an identifier. For example, I am taking here it is a capital C class, in this case it is okay, it is not a keyword, that's why it is fine. Like that you cannot use, for example, I am taking here non-local here, it is also a keyword, that's why you cannot use. Here you can see invalid syntax. For example, I am using here it is a capital N, in this case okay. Just if you want to print here like that, none equal to 10. For example, here none is also a keyword, you cannot use it as an identifier, right? If you want to print like this, so here I am using small but it is not a keyword, that's why it is a valid identifier, right? For example, underscore sum it is also valid, identifier underscore sum, just if you want to print that, and also underscore average temperature I am giving here, average underscore temp, average temperature, right? Just it is also a valid keyword, average temperature, it is also valid, but I am using here, instead of this I am using minus. Is it valid identifier or not? You can see cannot assign to expression here, so that is the error. I am using here, it is a at the rate, here this symbol. Is it valid identifier or not? Okay, like this it is not a valid identifier. Any identifier starts with digits, right? So for example, if you want to is it a valid identifier? It is not a valid identifier, but here any letter followed by digit, it is a valid identifier. Now we can check it is a valid identifier or not. You can see here it is a valid identifier, right? So these are the keywords. Any keywords you cannot use it as an identifier. So these keywords are present in this version. Okay, like version to version it can maybe change. Okay, thank you for watching this video.